You and Bakugou were dating. Sort of. If anything, you'd call it complicated. It started around a month ago. You had been training in a 1v1, and the high and mighty Bakugou actually fell on his nose. Your quirk, Daughter of Sparta, was a mutation that even in your younger years made you bigger. It wasn't a fully gigantification thing, but your classmates had always been smaller than you. Currently, you reached a height of 210 centimeters, or 6'8". In addition, your muscles were quite condensed. This meant that while you didn't look like a discount All Might, you certainly had comparable strength. Strangely enough, you thought you looking the way you did made you quite unpopular with the boys, but the opposite was the fact. Your physique attracted them, while making you on the other hand severely disliked by the girls. Luckily, this slightly changed in UA. While not openly disliked, you were simply avoided. When you had beaten Bakugou, it was like a button inside his head had been pressed. Being so utterly humiliated by you, he didn't leave his room for 3 days. Not even Ayazawa could get him out. And after that, he had just simply decided that you two were dating now. Secretly. Under everyone's noses. However, considering the type of person he was, maybe you being able to overpower him was exactly what he needed. For one, some poor innocent girl who may think she would be able to deal with a verbally abusive narcissist numbskull like him, and thought, I can change him, or no, I'm the exception to his behavior, would be spared a horrible reality check, and most likely a spiral into something far worse. In addition, since you could beat him, you weren't scared. A win-win in your book. Today had been a boring day. Despite it being late autumn, it was uncharacteristically hot outside. To the point where your classmate Jiro even walked around without socks on. Sadly, due to your large body size, you had more troubles than the others, basic biology and all. So after school you had been lazily dozing in your bathtub filled with cold water. It was there when suddenly your phone began to ring. It took you a moment to respond. Slowly you raised your tall body out of the water. Immediately the heat hitting you like a wall. This better be good, you thought. With your wet hand you quickly rubbed over a towel and unlocked the phone. A message read, Gonna hang out with the guys tonight, you are invited. You blinked. That was Bakugou. What? Was your confused answer. Why would you invite me? He didn't answer, only left you on read. Rolling your eyes, you put your phone back and drifted back into the cold water. Slowly you inhaled, and then exhaled. If you didn't know better, you'd think you had some fire quirk without the added heat resistance. Your own snoring awoke you, your neck hurting from the hard bathtub. Clearly, you overdid it this time. With slight confusion, you climbed out of the water, ignoring the warmness of the room. Quickly, you dried yourself before looking out the window. It was dark outside. Oops, you said out loud. You wrapped a long towel around your hips before grabbing your phone and walking back into your main room. There were a few unread messages. You rolled your eyes. They were all from Bakugou. Growling, you put on your UA uniform. He and his friends were waiting for you in his room for about 10 minutes now. So far you kept a positive neutralness with your other classmates. In other words, you were obliged to join. After a minute of refreshing yourself and combing through your damp hair, you left your room. Meanwhile, Bakugou and his extras, as he called them, were sitting together in his room. Mina Ashido, Genki Kaminari, and Eijiro Kirishima. The three people who Bakugou considered slightly less annoying than the rest. The three students had forced this little sleepover, as Kaminari and Kirishima were really struggling with their chemistry homework, especially Kaminari. And good friends helped each other out with that. Genki scratched over the back of his head. Can I just copy yours, Bakugou? I promise I change it enough. The explosive blonde glared. Okay, I get it. Jeez. Mina laughed. If looks could kill. You soon arrived and joined the little circle of friends. So what is this all about? You asked, slightly annoyed. Pikachu here is failing chemistry, and shitty hair too, and is expecting us to save their asses, shouted your secret boyfriend. Ah. You leaned over and looked at the notes Denki had in front of him. When Bakugou had called it a hangout, you had expected it was some stupid sleepover thing, but this was actually something interesting. Your entire group worked painfully slowly through the problems. Maybe Denki's electricity quirk had fried his brain a little too hard after all. By 9 p.m., the suffering was finally over. I hate you, Denki, you sighed jokingly. Trust me, he said with a grin before slapping his head. I hate myself way more. Can you guys please leave my goddamn room now? Growled Bakugou. Mina, however, raised both hands. Not yet. This was gonna be good. She grabbed a bag that had been sitting behind her. So far you thought it's her school bag, but inside was an empty wine bottle. I'm not kissing anyone here, shouted Bakugou as she put the bottle in the middle of the circle. Mina looked at the blonde. I'm actually more surprised you know what spin the bottle is than at you being unwilling for physical contact. Bakugou blushed in anger and glared at the pink-skinned girl. But no, I was thinking we could play a little truth or dare, for fun that is, before we go back to our rooms when the curfew starts. The bottle is so no one gets unfairly chosen over and over. Well, I'm for it, shouted Denki excitedly. Of course, a pervert like him would immediately jump to the opportunity. Kirishima looked unsure and gazed at you expectantly. Meanwhile, the blonde himself began ranting about how this was his room. However, everyone else knew that if Bakugou really didn't want to play this, he would force everyone out using violence. It was kinda cute, actually. It was like a child that ordered 3 small balls of ice cream and what they actually got were 2 really big ones. Seeing the true power of this opportunity, you smiled. I'm in. Your eyes darted towards Bakugou, whose rant became quiet, before he sighed and shouted, Fine! But I will not do stupid shit! The game started calm enough. For the beginning, only minor truths were exclaimed, like, did you ever steal something? If yes, what? Or count as many birthdays of the class as you can. It was actually quite boring. Until the dares began. The first one to dare was Kirishima, who dared Mina to knock on Mineta's door and say, Hey King, I'm naked and willing, before running away as fast as possible. No one expected her to do it, but you had to give her props. She did. You personally watched her from around the corner as proof. Slowly, the dares got more juicy, and the truths more embarrassing. Just so more dares would be called out. After Kirishima had snuck into Midoriya's room with a fake love letter from a secret lover, placing it onto his nightstand and leaving, his head was a blushing mess. That really wasn't nice. You know how neurotic that kid is. Mina shrugged. What? Then you're blind. She grinned. You know something I don't? Smugly, she replied. I am not going to spread rumors. I just let things happen on their own. The redhead spun the bottle next, and it landed on you. Okay. Truth or dare? You smiled. Dare me, big boy. The redhead scratched his chin and thought. Choose a boy or girl in the room and go into the closet with them for 7 minutes. You blushed. So 7 minutes in heaven? Kirishima shook his head. It isn't really. I'm merely asking. You can't involve others in the dare, fuckface! Shouted Bakugou. Everyone was looking at him in confusion at the outburst, except for you. I'd go with her. Mommy milkers, chuckled Denki. Bakugou glared but remained quiet. I mean, not like she'd do anything to me, said Mina. Right? She looked at you unsure, and you huffed. Fine. Kiri, you wanna do this? Because then I choose you. Bakugou's head turned just as red as Kirishima's. Denki and Mina both went, oh! Meanwhile, you explained your choice, making sure Bakugou was looking at you as you continued. He dared me, so you might as well. Plus, Denki, I'm fully aware that you'd be completely fine with that. And about Mina, you looked at her. Where would be the fun in that? No offense. She smiled from ear to ear. None taken, baby girl. Now, shoo, shoo! You got on your feet and Mina and Denki were practically pushing you and Eijiro into Bakugou's closet. You barely fit, having to crouch over him. Outside you could hear the muffled protest and laughter from Bakugou and the others. This is more uncomfortable than I thought. I mean, you're the one who wanted this, you replied to the redhead. Does this mean you have a crush on me? He asked curiously. Oh well, sorry I don't. He sighed in relief. Oh, thank God. Oh, are you the one with the crush? Kirishima fidgeted. Yeah, it's Mina. You gently pat him on the head. Then why did you dare me to make this choice? You could have chosen her when the time came. He looked up at you. Yeah, it's just... oh no. I need some encouragement. He paused, and finally opened your mouth. Wanna know why I didn't choose Bakugou? You asked. Go ahead. We are secretly dating and... You're what? He shushed. We are kinda dating and I love messing with him. He's really jealous. I can imagine. He laughed quietly. Hope you're ready for his inevitable overreaction. You pat his shoulder. Trust me, I was. The moment I asked you for this. The rest of the 7 minutes you spent quietly chatting about how this thing with you and Bakugou actually worked. When you heard an alarm clock in the other room, you quickly said, Oh, quick, kiss me. No, he hushed. Mina. You nodded. Oh, yes, sorry. For a moment, messing with the explosive blonde had been more important than your friendship with the redhead. It's okay. The door was thrown open. Time's up. That was Mina. She looked at the two of you with slight disappointment. The game ended soon after, when the curfew was mere minutes away. and everyone said their see you tomorrows. Everyone, except Bakugou, who had been uncharacteristically quiet. When it was only you and him in his room, he finally spoke up.
Did really nothing happen?
You nodded. It's cute. You still think about it. He growled before joining you on his bed as you had sat down on it. You're jealous.
I'm not jealous,
he shouted. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You sounded like we were talking to a dog, and he hated that.
Stop. I'm not some pet.
The two of you remained quiet for a while. Well, I know I did nothing, you said eventually.
Spit it out.
I'm loyal, Bakugou. As long as we are, I guess we could call it a couple, I promise I won't. You chuckled. You always wanted to say that to a jealous boyfriend. I won't fuck around like that. Damn, saying that felt good.
Really? Prove it then.
You looked at him and gave him a smug smile. Aw, you sure about that?
Yes?
Without a warning, you threw yourself at him. He yelped as he was buried under you. His lips quivered.
What the hell are you?
You didn't allow him to complain, pressing your plump lips onto his. This may have been a relationship with no real beginning, but there was something that made you interested in each other. Your hand gently massaged over his chest as his breathing became more demanding, and so did his kiss. Your lips perked up into a smug grin as you pushed your tongue past his lips. You could feel his teeth glide over your wet muscle. Maybe you scared him. Thankfully, he didn't bite. He groaned as you pushed further into him, and after a while, slowly you lifted your head off of him, separating your lips. His eyes were closed. I think now I get it, you whispered.
You get what?
He huffed. Katsuki, do I remind you of your mom?